The pursuit of having a working team requires an understanding that every team is an organic system. A lot of the things that we are taught in biology class and ecology class actually function quite well in making sure that the things that we are putting together with people are sustainable. My name's Tarab. I make videos about emotional intelligence, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about what I've been doing to make sure that my team members feel engaged, but also that they feel like they're growing and they're actually gaining skill sets and accumulating more money for the things that they're learning. It's very, very important as a boss, as a leader in any capacity, to give people the law of picture. John Maxwell's law of picture is a very, very important thing for leadership in general, because it teaches leaders that you cannot just have an amorphous image of what you expect to accomplish in the world. It needs to have quite a bit of structure in order for people to latch onto it, but also in order for us as leaders to build the steps, the attainable steps for people to use to get to where they want. One of the conversations I have a lot is with people that have been leaders in the past, and they have basically stifled their own growth out of not setting large enough goals in the outright, that their vision, the law of picture, was not clear. So in order to establish a proper working environment that encourages growth, that encourages the pursuit of personal development, career development, whatever you want to call it, we need to know exactly where it is that we want to go, and the quantitative things are most often the most important when it comes to actually nailing the steps. But the qualitative, our ability to inspire people, that stuff matters a lot more, because most people, humans in general, tend to be emotional creatures. So when it comes to convincing people, we need to have an emotional message. One of the things that I learned from Grant Cardone's Unbreakable Business was the immense power that having structure in the way that we persuade, in the way that we inspire, gives us as leaders to keep and maintain really exceptional people. So it goes the heart, the head, the hand, the heart. So what that means is the heart is the emotional aspect of that picture. The heart is the thing that emotionally inspires people to take the steps, to do the daily work, to show up every day, to really customize their own life to fit into the scheme that we're trying to create. And when it comes down to it, I don't think there's very many messages that are more emotionally stimulating than service. The ability for us to actually help society and actually help people deeply. I try to surround myself with good people that feel like sunshine. So for them to come in and around my organizations and to dwell inside those organizations, I need to have a very clear understanding of how it is that I want to serve people. So for instance, the dental practice that I'm at, one of the main missions of the dental practice is not only to obviously provide the dental care, but it's also to make sure that my patients are educated on how to prevent disease and the etiology, basically the foundations of why they have disease in the first place, or why their teeth are breaking, or why they have sleep problems, or whatever it is. Incredibly important to be able to have that service mentality, because it's just incredibly powerful for people that want to do good in the world, but also want to make a lot of money and support their families and their own pursuits. So I would recommend, if you don't have that strong why, first and foremost, read, write, speak as much as possible to be able to communicate, to articulate the nuances of the emotion, but also to be able to really get into how certain personalities need to be communicated too. I took an R3 assessment, DISC assessment, which I believe is from the Maxwell Leadership School of Thought, which determines whether or not we are a driver of a business, whether or not we are an influencer in the business, whether or not we are a stabilizer or an analyzer. The important aspects of a business require leaders of all four categories to have their positions determined, but also know where they stand, how their work actually affects the entire situation. Furthermore, having that emotional, the heart aspect of your persuasion nailed in any initiative is always going to be unique. And service tends to be something that's a little bit overarching. It's kind of like when you make a personal brand, there's certain things that people want to associate with you over a series of years, over a series of basically all of the content that I create. I want to evoke that sense of service as a way to remind myself of the thing that I really care about, but also to make sure that should a person see me in the office, should a person see me in a meeting, should a person see me online on social media, whatever, that why, that emotion is still strong and is getting stronger. The head in a persuasive statement, or a persuasive period of time, let's call it, is the logic behind what we do. So as I'm a driver, I'm considered a driver through the R3 assessment. And the drivers of businesses tend to have these pretty adventurous, radical, bold ideas about where things should be going. The issue is that for a driver to be able to inspire, for instance, an analyzer or a stabilizer, we need to be able to break down what it is that we're saying, where we want to go, why we're so bold and adventurous in a logical way, so that they can understand what the steps are to get there and why it is that we're pursuing the thing in the first place. Incredibly important to make sure that as leaders, we make our thought process understandable. And that's something that I've learned through Cardone Ventures quite a bit. When I went to the 9-figure boardroom, and when I watch the Dawsons on social media and I see the things that they're implementing, a lot of the stuff that they believe in revolves in and around their philosophies of transparency. So as a leader, I want to be around people that are transparent. So I must be transparent. And that means that having that logic spelled out and reiterating it consistently, it makes it so much more understandable for my team as to why Tarab is acting this way, or why the leader is pushing me in this direction. There needs to be consistent communication, logical communication for emotional ideas. Otherwise, we're kind of just stirring the pot instead of cooking a dish, if that makes sense. The hand in the persuasive argument, so I'll reiterate, it's the heart, the head, the hand, the heart. The hand is the call to action. So after we go through the why, the seed of the idea, the emotional importance of the idea, we break down the logical components of the idea, we need to then give a call to action. Now in a sales pitch, that's usually, hey, let's set up a meeting, hey, you pay X amount of money and we'll get on this program, hey, go to this website, whatever it is. In a leadership sense, the call to action becomes, okay, let's set some goals that will allow you and your passions to be able to support this larger goal. Very important to get an understanding of what each individual is aspiring to do in their life. And that's the implementation of a model, hopefully into every single organization structure, that allows us to consistently communicate about those things people care about. It's hard to do. All of this is hard to do. the point of it is to keep a consistency and to keep that level of trust and emotion embedded into everything that we do, so that it's going to be a sustainable process. You know, I don't ever want to create anything that will dwindle after I leave it. I want to create things that will constantly inspire, that will constantly bring out new leaders, that will constantly bring out new ideas, so that, you know, should something happen to me, all that hard work that I put into the world, into the initiative, that carries forth, and it has the air to breathe. It has the space to grow, right? Based on the personalities that are present. And what does that require? A system that values those personalities and also encourages them to blossom, to actualize what they need. So the last part, and the part that most people miss, again, is the emotion, right? When we close with emotion, when we say, listen, this life is short, and we want to have as much impact on the people close to us, but also allow our actions to ripple out into all of their relationships, all of the external people that are seeing these things, right? We have that ability to connect back to people and realize that all of the stuff that I've just been saying for the last 10 minutes really has to do with human beings, right? It has to do with trying to understand how to inspire, how to connect, and how to build something that's sustainable.